Success comes in small packages. Philip Pape.
They say if you want to be happy in life, you should learn from the smartest, most successful people. At least that's the theory. I've studied Steve Jobs, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Donald Trump, and of course, the Kardashians. But then I stumbled across the smartest people on the planet. I literally stumbled across them because they're short. They've been under our very noses this entire time. I'm not talking about hobbits. I don't even think they're real. I'm not talking about leprechauns. I'm talking about toddlers. Little kids are wiser than you think. That's the lesson I've learned as a father of 2 little girls. Emily is 3 and a half. You can't forget the half, she will remind you. And Clara is 1 and a half. Now Clara is just at that age where she can manipulate me, and I have no clue she's doing it. Just the other night, I placed her bottle in front of her. She lifted it over the side, dropped it on the floor, and laughed her head off. So being the great father that I am, I picked up the bottle, put it on her high chair. What does she do? She drops it on the floor, laughs her head off. Coincidence? Being the great dad that I am, I picked up the bottle, put it in front, she dropped it, laughs her head off. You think after we did this dance 10 times, I'd learn. But somehow a 1-year-old can bend the laws of physics and create an infinite space-time loop that I'm powerless to break. Like I said, kids are smart. Now my wife Karen, she's the other smart woman of the house, is a stay-at-home mom. That must be nice. What does she do all day? It's a question you never want to ask her. She's so busy, she'll tell you that if she can get a shower by noon, it's been a productive day. She works very hard, and it shows because after I spend all day at work working with children who happen to be my age, I get to come home to actual children who act my age. Because everything kids do is a microcosm of what we've forgotten in our infinite wisdom and so-called life experience. But kids have no life experience to hold them back, so they make some surprisingly wise choices and have taught me a lot about success. Sunday night, we took the girls out to a nice restaurant for dinner. What were you thinking, taking little kids out in public like that? They're supposed to be safe at home in their little bubbles where no one can see them, according to most people who don't have kids. And many of us who do. But my kids, honestly, they're perfect little angels, 99% of the time. This just happened to be the 1% of the time. Emily starts singing at the top of her lungs, "Frosty the Snowman was jolly happy." Remember, we're in a quiet restaurant. It's not even Christmas yet. Now, I'm a firm believer you should never yell at your kids in public. So I leaned over and whispered, "Emily, let's use your inside voice." Now, aside from all the whispers, sideways glances, pointing, staring, nobody in the restaurant really seemed to mind. And I didn't care, because in that moment, she reminded me of something important about success. That you should always be yourself. Unless you can be Iron Man, you know, from the Avengers, then definitely be Iron Man. Definitely. But failing that, just be yourself. So I have a new mantra. Every day now, I turn and look at myself in the mirror, and I say, "Self, stop pretending to be normal. Let your weird light shine brightly so all the other weirdos know where to find you." Always be yourself. Let's talk about my little one, Clara. Remember, she's 1 and a half. 2 nights ago, she was sitting on the floor, thumbing through a board book with the concentration of a Tibetan monk. And we were trying to clean up the kitchen. I said, "Clara, please pick up that napkin and throw it in the trash." Dead silence. She's very independent. Now, we all want our kids to be independent, as long as they do exactly everything we tell them to all of the time. Isn't that right? So surprisingly, little Miss Independent sets down the book, picks up the napkin, waddles over to the trash, drops it in, and makes sure it's deposited properly. And then it hit me. Clara, my 1-year-old, is a completionist. She has to finish everything she starts. Now, how many adults do you know have that level of self-discipline? If you ask a group of adults to describe themselves using 5 words, they'll say lazy. In fact, the only thing we're not lazy about let's be honest, is procrastination. But it took a 1-year-old to show me the value of hard work, which gave me an idea. The next time I'm asked to do something I don't like, whether it's from my boss or from my wife, who's my other boss, I'm going to try that whole getting it done thing and see if that's the key to success. Now getting back to Emily, my oldest. She has a favorite new 3-letter word. It's a question shared by toddlers all across the planet. You know what I'm talking about. Why? Exactly. Why? Having a toddler is like playing 20 questions 5,463,000 times in a row. And as an adult, you learn how little you know about anything when children start asking even the simplest questions. Daddy, why are the leaves so brown and crunchy? Daddy, why should I hold my dog's leash this way? Daddy, why do you drink so much beer? She asks why so often that I find myself doing it. Just last night, I turned to my wife. I said, honey, why is that sack of dirty dishes so high? That's all I got. Having a 3-year-old is a great reminder to be curious. And it takes me back to when I was dating my wife, and I would ask her lots of questions. Because showing interest, that's how you reel the big fish in, if you know what I mean. But somehow the whole listening thing took a sharp drop in the transition from dating to marriage. And it took a 3-year-old to remind me it's perhaps a skill I should rediscover. Through all of this, I realized if you want to understand the keys to success and happiness, just ask yourself one question. WWTD. What would a toddler do? That was not a